This year marks the 4th edition of the World Day dedicated to grandparents and the elderly. Pope Francis launched this initiative in 2021 with a special reason behind it. It was not a random date. It was the year immediately after the first wave of the COVID pandemic, and the Pope wanted to draw attention to this population that had been hit so hard, especially in the first wave. Most of those who were victims were the elderly, so we can say this day is another sign of the Church's care for the elderly. Unlike in previous years, there will be no Mass in St. Peter's Basilica with Pope Francis. Scelso says the idea is to place a greater emphasis on celebrating the day in the local dioceses in 2 ways: visiting the elderly and holding a Mass where they can join in. Unfortunately, after COVID, for many elderly people, it has been difficult to go back to Mass. We have seen a decrease in attendance of the elderly in church, and we would like this to be a day for an opportunity to get people back to church. This is meant to be a day without loneliness, and the invitation is to everyone to go out and visit the loneliest elderly. Those who visit the elderly on this day will receive a plenary indulgence. And it follows the message for this year, which is, quote, "Do not cast me off in my old age." We need to remember the elderly all year round. The elderly in some places of the world are a very, very large percentage. For example, in Italy and Germany, they are 1/4 of the population. This is not something we can forget. Our churches are full of elderly people, so it is necessary to give them routine and continuous pastoral attention. Scelso says it is difficult to measure changes in the care of the elderly, but the dicastery has received reports that some countries, like Brazil, Colombia, and Peru, have been placing a greater emphasis in care for the elderly in recent years.